Yeah, we are back, and that was a great seller's tip. I can tell you that much, man.
Thanks.
I mean, we need to get more sellers out there.
Yeah.
There is just low inventory, and we need to bring
We
more
have
into the
buyers that
market.
have nothing to buy.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Well, our next guest is Philip Sales from the Vine Trail.
The executive director.
The executive
He's
director.
The grand poobah of the Vine Trail, the Napa Valley Vine Trail.
You know, when I think of Grand Poobah, I think of that hat, the buffalo hat with the two in his
Fred
furry.
Marnie?
Yeah.
Fred Marnie, yeah.
No one does that anymore?
No,
I'm sorry.
thankfully. But we really digress.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thanks
Thank you
for
so
joining
much.
us today.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think we have some great topics today, and one being the Vine Trail. And, you know, I live by the Vine Trail, and I think it's a wonderful project. How did it get started? Can you tell us?
Well, it started in 2007 when Napa County Transportation Planning Agency put out a request for proposal to do a feasibility study of the whole valley. And I happened to be the project manager for the firm that got the contract to do it. So I've been involved with the project since day one. And we basically focused on the Highway 29 corridor because there's a lot of public land there. We didn't have to get into buying a lot of right-of-way from private property owners. And there were some segments of the trail already in existence, like the Crosstown Commuter Bike Path. And there's a little section of trail north of Dunawheel Lane up in Calistoga. So we had some stuff to work with. What we've been doing is piecing it all together since then. In the 10 years or so since that feasibility study was developed, we formed a nonprofit organization, the Vine Trail Coalition, which Lee is a member of our board. We've been able to work with lots of different interest groups in the valley, including economic interest groups, health providers, education, environmental groups, public agencies, the sheriff's office. We've pretty much covered everybody. It's a great coalition. I have to give credit to our board president, Chuck McMinn, who pulled it together. And we're sort of a different kind of animal to a lot of other trail organizations. We're not just there trying to get the trail built, but we're also trying to raise money as well. So we come to the table with some resources that we help to leverage grants and so forth.
And the money that you need to raise is not just for trail construction because of all of the real estate involved, is that?
Absolutely, yeah. One of the things that the coalition did early on is we pledged that we would raise money to help support the maintenance of the trail. We have 13 different public agencies that are involved in the trail. Each one of them gets to operate their own piece of it. So we wanted to make sure that when we go into a city that we would have something to help them with that. So we fund about 50% of the maintenance of the trail. And that's a commitment we made. We have an agreement with Yountville right now. We're about to do an agreement with the county and the city of Napa. So we've looked at this in the long term because we don't intend just to be an organization to build it, but we're here to help maintain it and maintain it in a way that's appropriate for a beautiful valley like Napa where people come from all over the world to come see it.
Well, how successful have you been so far?
Well, to date we have been relatively successful. We were able to leverage our grants money back in 2009 thanks to the first grant that was awarded through the Reconstruction America grant. There was a program that the Obama administration put in place. A section of the trail got built in Yountville. We call it the Yountville Mile, and in the words of real estate sellers like yourself, we call it the show home.
Right.
We had it built then, and we had signage up there. And then we waited a couple of years until we were able to get some more federal money. And this last year, we built 12.5 miles. We connected all the way from Kennedy Park up to Yountville. So you can get on the Vine Trail now, and with a small gap around the area of Vallejo Street and 3rd Street. With that exception, you can ride or walk all the way from Kennedy Park up to Yountville. We were also able to get a grant to build from St. Helena to Calistoga. We got a $6.1 million grant. We have to raise $3 million in private monies from philanthropy to help leverage that grant. So it's important for us to, we're going to be doing a lot of fundraising on that over the next couple of years. But that will allow that section of the project to be built by 2020. And then last month, we got a $4.2 million grant to build a section from Vallejo up to American Canyon. So again, we're looking for matching funds for that. We have to raise another $800,000 for that project.
Yeah, but man, without those grants, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be. And now that, you know, you need to do the matching, but that's, you know, less than half, right?
Well, our strategy right from the get-go was to try to leverage, for every $3 in federal and state monies, we would raise $1 in matching funds, and that's something we've kept pretty much as the rubric for our fundraising effort. So, for instance, the grants that we got for the section we just completed from Yountville down to Kennedy Park, we raised $3 million of that. $1 million was from a Founders Circle fundraising pledge campaign that we did. And, that is part of the whole genesis of this project, is to try to act as a catalyst, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, does, the Vine Trail, not only is it going to serve, recreational activities for everyone, but is it going to serve anything educational for?
Absolutely.
For our community?
We decided, we've got several committees. We have a programs committee. We have a committee that deals with art. We've been working, as you just heard from your previous guest, with the Wine Train on the Arts District. And we have other committees, the engineering committee. But the programs committee was very important for us because we wanted to make sure that it was a trail that's relevant to the general public here in Napa Valley. It's not just for tourists.
Right.
And so last year we funded developing curriculum for 2nd to 8th graders to be able to use the trail as an outdoor classroom. And so we've got those curriculum in place, and working with the educational folks at the Napa County Office of Education, we're hoping to get school groups out there using the trail as an outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
And we've also installed 19 interpretive signs which talk about the valley in terms of history, geology, winemaking, all sorts of things that'll be interesting, not just for adults but for kids too.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
For,
I know every time I'm anywhere with my wife, like at a national park, she stops and reads every single one of those. So.
And we're going to have
I'm
audio.
the same way.
That's a lot of stuff to read.
And we're going to have audio with each of those signs
Oh,
too
wow.
on our Vine Trail app that we're hoping to launch by June.
Well, how do people get involved? I mean, how can they help fund?
Well, absolutely. We've got several programs. We've tried to design a menu of choices. You can join as a basic member for $47 because it's a 47-mile trail, so $47 gets you in the door.
Not a $50.
Not a $50.
47.
But for $147, you become a Century Club member, and a Century Club member gets a bag of swag. You'll get a hat, a water bottle, a jute tote bag, and a T-shirt. And you'll feel much better in all that gear.
Yeah.
For $1,000, you get one of these lovely footprints. At one of our iconic Vine Trail shelters, you can purchase a footprint. It's a metal aluminum footprint embedded in the concrete. It'll be there for you and your friends and your family to come and see whatever you wrote about them, hopefully nice. And you'll be able to come out and look at it.
For $1,000?
For $1,000.
And that's the actual size.
And that's the actual size itself. It happens to be a size
says.
8.
The viewers can't see that little tiny print. I was helping them out.
And we also have some information about becoming a Vine Trail supporter, which, if you're interested, we have these online. And do go to vinetrail.org. You can find out ways to donate and help us out. And we'd really look forward to seeing you out on the trail.
Wonderful. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that we were able to educate some people. And I know that there are some people, I recently talked to somebody, they didn't know that there was a Vine Trail.
Well, we will have to go visit them.
In a way that's tragic, and in a way it's really good news, because that means that there's now more people that know, and they can help.
Well, see, it's a faster track for me to get on my bike and ride down to St. Clair Brown Winery, man, and just boop, right there, and get to sit down on the patio and have some wine.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for Desi.
Yeah.
Look on the Vine Trail.
Athletics and alcohol. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Same, I don't know. I don't know if that should work.
Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks so much
Yeah,
for having us.
Thank you, Philip.